Guess who's back? Here is my Zodiac Time Beast deck profile. This deck uses cards from the new Chronojet Trial Deck in order to boost some of the old Zodiac Time Beast engines. Let me know what you think of the deck down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more Vanguard content and enjoy. Let's jump into this deck profile, starting off with, of course, none other than the big boy himself, 4 of the new Chronojet Dragon. This, of course, is probably one of the best cards that you're going to go into. When it attacks on Vanguard or Rearguard, you can counterblast 1. It gains plus 5,000 power, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels from his or her hand. So this is really good. It's even a good Rearguard. There's some cool stuff you could do with its Rearguard skill. And if you stride into next stage, which we do still run, you could use its skill pretty effectively. Has the force marker too, which is super important. Because we don't want to be on any other thing other than Chronojet, we play 3 copies of Chronojet Dragon Z. Honestly, we really just run him for the Chronojet name. It's super important to make sure that you're always on Chronojet, and that's why we play Chronojet Dragon Z. You could also run G if you're into that. I think G is not a bad choice just because next stage being able to power it up if you prefer to stride into that over some of the other strides. But I like Z in his spot. Next, 4 Pulsar Meta Party Dragon. Because it's a 10k Zodiac Time Beast, it's really good because it can match all Force, Vanguard, and Rearguards, being 10k and hit your opponent's 10k vanillas. So this is really good because it's a Zodiac Time Beast, and of course after it attacks you might counterblast 1, bind it, and call a grade 3 and a grade 1 Zodiac Time Beast. The only grade 3 that you can call in this deck is the Chronojet Dragon Z. But there's some good grade 1s that you could call off it and ways to bind. Next we run 1 Spearhead Unicorn. Spearhead Unicorn is really just in here for the loop. We play the stand trigger still, and I think that the multi-attack, especially if you're behind, could really help you get back into certain games. And it doesn't require Zodiac Time Beast Vanguard, it just requires that you have Zodiac Time Beast units, so it's pretty powerful. And then now the star of the deck, Cruising Dragon. We play at 4 copies. This, of course, is probably necessary at 4 copies in any Zodiac Time Beast deck because you could search out whatever Zodiac Time Beast you may need, either your Perfect Guard or your grade 3s or whatever, essentially, and then stack the rest at the bottom. And then we play 3 Nabu. Nabu, of course, is one of the newer cards from the V era, So when it attacks a Vanguard, you may bind a card from the drop zone. This is where you could bind your grade 3 to use with Metal Party, so it has some good synergy with some of the other cards in the deck, allowing us to have a decent mid-game and some advantage engine, because when it attacks, your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater cards from his or her hand until the end of that battle. So if you do this skill, you could also put Nabu into the soul at the end of the battle, and you draw a card, allowing us to get another card deeper into our deck to try and search out combo pieces and other cards that we could use. This deck actually draws a lot of cards, which you'll see why outside of the 2s and 3s. But one of the other ways that Zodiac Time Beast still is nice is that it has its own stride fodder. This is another way to make sure that you're able to stride essentially every turn, because when you discard for stride, it gets grade plus 2, making it a grade 3. So of course that's necessary. And you could, if you have Chronojet Z in your hand, you could use its skill to search out another one and then put the other one in the drop. It's just there for striding purposes, really. 4 Steam Tamer Arca. This, of course, is Zodiac Time Beast PG. You have to discard a Zodiac Time Beast for its effect, for those of you who don't know that already. And the reason why I still run it is because it doesn't have to block a ZTV Vanguard. So being able to bind itself, another copy of itself, and a trigger from your drop zone to add it to the hand is a super powerful effect, meaning that you could get another PG from your drop zone to your hand and save it to defend your opponent's attacks. And this is essentially recycling it, so that's why we keep Arca in here. I haven't really experimented with the draw PG yet, but if you guys have any ideas, be sure to comment down below. 4 copies of Transit Dragon. Transit Dragon is necessary because it allows you to put it to the soul after the battle that it boosted, and you have a grade 4 Vanguard with Chronojet in its name. You may draw a card, allowing us to keep up our advantage because you really need to, and it honestly just gotta draw cards with this deck. And then finally, the last grade 1, 3 Mary Block Dragon. Mary Block Dragon, of course, counts as a grade 3 Zodiac Time Beast when it's in the drop or deck. So you could bind it with Chronojet Z if you want to stride. And then when it boosts, it gets plus 2k for each of your Zodiac Time Beasts, allowing you to hit some bigger numbers when you attack with it. If your opponent gets a defensive or something, you can kind of play around it. and then at the end of the battle you bind that unit. So it goes to the bind zone and has good synergy with Metal Party Dragon, so you could call it back whenever you want to. Our triggers, we play 8 crit. Nothing more to say other than these are the new crits, just because I want some offensive output with some big numbers. 4 stand, these are the ZTB stands. As I said, we do run the loop in this deck because Spearhead Unicorn requires Zodiac Time-based units and this stand for it to really take advantage of some of its skills at certain points in the game. Being able to stand one of your Zodiac Time-based is actually really good too, allowing you to push at some points of the game. And then of course 4 of the ZTB heal. This is necessary because of all the cards that counterblast in this deck that you really need to use its skill for the counter charge. And of course Arcra if you need to bind it. And then the starter, we're sticking with Dran Z because when there's grade 2 or greater Zodiac Time-based is placed on Vanguard, that also includes Strides. You can bind it, search your deck for a grade 3 or a grade 1, or search the top 5 cards of your deck for a grade 3 or a grade 1, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and then when it's in the bind zone, you may discard a card and add it back to your hand. So it's really good, it's recyclable, it works with pretty much anything in the deck because we play Zodiac Time-based Strides, and it's, yeah, still really good card in general. Starting off our Strides, we play 1 Meta Pulsar Alter Dragon. This of course is here so we can't miss Stride and always Stride because this deck has an extreme reliance on GB and it's a Zodiac Time-based too, so gotta get those ZTBs face up for Heritage. Because the new Chronojet's not a ZTB heart, we run only 1 Meta Pulsar Split Pegasus now. It gives plus 1k to each Zodiac Time-based in your front row if it's face up in your G zone during your turn. So it's really nice because you can hit 12k if you have it with your 11k attackers. Other than that, you really need a Zodiac Time-based hard card to use its skill, so that's why we don't necessarily max out on it. Next, 2 Avenir Phoenix. So it doesn't require a ZTB heart, but you just have to call Zodiac Time-based, and then you put the rest of the cards that you don't call to the bottom of your deck. Helps with stacking, helps you establish a board presence if you get that. So you could have better setup for your bigger plays in the following turns. 2 Chrono Dragon Gear next. This of course is essential so you don't deck out. With all the cards that you draw on the deck, you're able to return some Zodiac Time-based from your hand or rear guard to your deck and restand it, getting you another attack. This is really good in those weird turns where you need to stabilize, so I usually just go into him then. 2 Next Stage. I decided to keep Next Stage in here just because of the synergy that it has with the new Chronojet being able to Sentinel Restrict, and if you put the Force Marker on your Vanguard for some reason, or if you ride it twice and you could afford to put one on the Vanguard, it could hit some good numbers. It could hit 26 with Sentinel Restriction, so it could be pretty nice, allowing you to force more cards of your Archon hand and force a G-Guard. It's not bad. And next, 3 of the weirdest cards, I would say. Chronovisor Heritage. This is your win con because you could flip 4 Zodiac Time-based Strides, grade 4s from your G zone face down, and then you're able to gain an additional turn. So he's one of your main win cons. Then we have Zeroth Dust. This card nerfed by the rules, still won't forgive them, but Zeroth Dusk of course acts as another win con for us, so we gotta run it because double Heritage you won't survive. I'm teching this card right now, Crossover Dragon. Crossover Dragon is actually an interesting card for this deck. You're able to use its skill like that, and then if one of them hits, you put them both to the soul after, and then you stand your Vanguard. It's interesting because you could kind of work on it with your damage deny and force your, or not attack with your Vanguard to their Vanguard, you could attack with a rear guard. So if there's anything pesky that you want to get rid of, like maybe a Blaster Blade or whatever, you could get rid of it by attacking it and then pressure with your rear guards. It's actually pretty interesting. It just requires 2 counterblasts, and I really don't understand why this card's $12 on TCG Player right now. But I digress. I'm trying it out. It's not bad. And then for our G-Guards, should be pretty standard. We have 1 hetero round. I'm probably going to bump this up to 2, but I'm trying Highbrow Steam Arlem. Being able to send back Chronojets from your hand or drop zone back to your deck to gain 15k shields actually pretty big. Putting it at a 30k G-Guard. So it makes your Chronojet, new Chronojet, 43k base if you use it. 2 of the Zodiac Time-based G-Guards. For Heritage, gotta be able to have the Zodiac Time-based face up and required to use Heritage's skill, so that's why we run that. And then Uluru, being to send back any normal units or trigger units that we may want back in our deck. So that's the deck for Zodiac Time Beast. I hope you all enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed playing this deck again. It's super fun. If you have some of the old gear support, this is what you want to try out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all later.